Yeah, you know how we roll on a Tuesday. We hang out with the fellas from Missin Curfew, Scottie Upshall, Shane O'Brien, or Obi, and Uppy, as we like to call them. How you doing, fellas?
Doing good.
Good. EJ, Uppy loves your pink little, what is that, a sweater? What do you got on there? Updog loves that.
Takes a real man to rock pink like that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just a nice little top here. I like it. I got it at a golf outing, and, you know, I like some days I give you the Johnny Cash, Man in Black.
Right, sure.
Other days I like to be a little more colorful. So today, you guys are colorful. So I bring it. And speaking of kind of like, you know, kind of floral colors, the Florida Panthers, Obi. I mean, last week we're sitting here, we're sitting pretty. You're thinking you got that bottle of Camus. Your fingers are wrapped around it, and you didn't want to jinx it. I give you credit. You didn't want to jinx it, but nonetheless, they've lost 4 in a row. What say you?
Yeah, I'm gonna blame you, EJ. I'm gonna finger point it right towards you. Like my playing days, I had my guy. It was EJ's fault. EJ. I was trying not to jinx it. You put it out in the universe. Last night was a heartbreaker, man. It was a heartbreaker. I'm starting to look up Camus to where I can send it. Jackie, I'm going to need your address so I can send you.
And EJ was just down there golfing. He should be pulling for these guys.
I'm not pulling. Listen, either way, it doesn't affect me. Whether the bottle of wine goes to you or goes to her, I probably don't get to see a drop of it. So it won't matter.
That might not be true. And just for the record, I do want the top tier Camus.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
2016, a little reserve year.
Yeah, Upshall, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I
think Uppy should have to pick the bottle.
Yes, I like that
because
stipulation.
He'll be fair.
How do you feel, Scotty? I think you should pick the bottle.
I got the bottle and I got the appetizers, just like the dinner last year in the playoffs. I'm good at picking the appies.
There you go. All right, we love it. Oh, you have something to say there, Obi?
No, I was just going to say, if Uppy had to pay for it, I would let him pick it. But if he's not paying for it, there's no way he's picking it.
All right, well, I'll let you two hash that out off the air because the viewers, quite frankly, don't care.
That's right.
So let's get to something they do care about, and that is Connor McDavid. He's got 140 points. He's 10 from 150 with 8 games to play. The last 150-point player was Mario, who we know is a big deal because I don't even have to say his last name for you to know who I'm talking about.
Right.
So the question we kick this segment off with today is, will McDavid hit 150? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely he's going to hit 150, maybe 155. I have him at, listen, I said 70 goals probably a month ago because he was just rolling. And I'm like, this guy, there's no stopping him. I have him at 65 goals and 90 assists. Why? Because these games are meaningful down the stretch, and he's just continually getting better and better, and he wants to hit the playoffs feeling good. He's not going to stop. I think he's making a statement. 155 points.
Yeah, he's going to get it for sure. Depends on how many power plays they get here in the next. What did you say? He's got 8 or 9 games?
8 games.
Like every time they get a power play, like look out. The poor Coyotes last night killed one off, and then they got a penalty right again. They scored. So he gets over 150, and I'm holding on to 70 goals, depending on how many power plays they get.
Yeah, you know, we had a little give and take on the 70 goal things. You guys get it going on social media, and you know, I mean, listen. If he, I can't write it off.
No.
I mean, you know, I didn't think he'll get there. I stand by that, but it's certainly not out of the question. You don't ever like to bet against guys like Connor McDavid because, I mean, you pointed it out. On any one game, he could have a 6-point night or 3 goals, and that skews the whole thing. So we'll see. But I think he can get to 150 points, too.
Here's what I'll say about this. I am going to opt out of answering this question today because last week, when we had the 70-goal conversation, I was adamant. Oh, 70, baby, it's happening. He's going to play the Ducks twice, quack, quack. He's playing the Sharks twice. Like, 70 goals, no problem for Connor McDavid. Since then, Connor McDavid has scored 0 goals in 2 games.
Yeah.
I feel like, Obi, you might have jinxed the Panthers. I absolutely jinxed Connor McDavid. Yeah. It's my fault. So I am going to opt out of answering the question and hope that I did not jinx McDavid in some type of way. But let's get to our next topic.
All right.
Obviously, we're on the final push here for the postseason. Some teams have clinched their spot. But when you look at the playoff standings as they currently are, which team currently in a playoff spot do you think is the most underrated?
Yeah, for me, this is a tough answer because they're leading the Central Division right now, but I'm going to still say the Minnesota Wild. I believe that the Colorado Avalanche are going to win the Central, so I think they're going to play the Dallas Stars in the first round with home ice, but I still don't think they're getting the love they deserve. And the way they play without Kirill Kaprizov in the lineup, they can play it anyway. They can play it physical, they can play it speed, they got great goaltending, and I love their coach, Dean Evison. He's got the best mean mug in the league up dog.
He does, yeah. I had him in junior. It hasn't changed.
Yeah,
he's still mean and hard to play for. Listen. If the playoffs started right now, Seattle Kraken would play your Minnesota Wild. And I'm still in favor of this Kraken team coming in and surprising people. They've done it this year, all year. They're fast. They play in your face. There hasn't been a playoff game in Seattle yet. That building rocks. Listen, they're a team you just don't want to mess with. And Minnesota, they've always underperformed come playoff time, losing to the Blues. And, I just see that's a team they don't want to mess with the Kraken, I'm telling you.
Right. Okay. I like that answer, though, because that is a team that, like, a lot of people are not talking about as, like, a cup contender.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'd say two things. First of all, I remember watching Dean Evison play, and, like, he's meaner as a coach. I mean, like, he gets going on the bench. Like, he was a good, solid NHL player, but, like, he wasn't, like, the little ball of hate. As a player. But on the bench, he's kind of a little bit more dangerous. But I would say Vegas to me. I still don't think we talk enough about Vegas, what they've done this year. They're leading the division. They've played as well as they've played since the All-Star break. Good game tonight against the Oilers. So Vegas, to me, just hasn't gotten near enough attention commensurate to what they've done this season.
I feel that way about the Kings. And I almost feel silly saying it because I think people that watch our show know that I feel this way about the Kings.
But we talk about the Kings, I think, a lot.
More than
on this
Vegas?
Show. Yes.
I don't think so.
I disagree.
Well, I guess we're going to have to agree to disagree.
Or maybe not.
Whatever. I think maybe the Islanders are a bit underrated. They've been playing really well of late. You don't like it?
Well, I think they're gonna get in.
Yeah.
Because, Obi jinxed the Panthers, so I think that the Islanders now are gonna benefit from that jinxing.
Sure.
And they'll be in, but they've had their struggles. I mean, lost to Buffalo at home the other night, gave up a point to the
But
Jackets.
all teams lose to bad teams. Like, we've seen that, right? And I think that they have an X factor in Soro King between the pipes.
True.
And who are they going to get in the first round? Are they going to get Boston or are they going to get Carolina? Not to take anything away from either of those teams, but I don't think the Islanders, I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't think the Islanders are going to go on some run to the Stanley Cup final. But I do think that they could prove to be a tough out when the game changes a little bit in the postseason, and
the goalie is good.
Have a goalie that will keep you in it. And then you just need things to kind of go your way here and there. All of a sudden, you're up 3-2 in a series, and you got 2 games to close it out. That's all.
Okay.
Any thoughts on that, guys, as I run off on a tangent?
I mean, that's probably the right answer. I couldn't say Islanders because I still don't think they're going to get in because I need Florida to get in. But the Islanders is the right answer, Jackie. You are right, but I still hope Florida gets in. Come on, Matty Tkachuk. I need you, fella.
Yeah, all right. So we will see. The clock is ticking, though. I think Sid and the boys might make it a lot tougher after tonight. But one last question for you before we get to the DraftKings stuff. Coach of the Year is something that we haven't really talked about on this show really at all, maybe here and there. When you look at some of these guys as potential Coach of the Year candidates, who do you like? Like, who do you think should win Coach of the Year this year?
I mean, for me, it's an obvious pick, and solely because I was just hanging out with the St. Louis Blues here in Anaheim the other day, and just mentioning Monty's name to them, right? He came in as assistant coach a couple years. They love the guy. He's a complete players coach. What he's done with the Boston Bruins this year, and yes, they have everything, right? Their veteran players are doing things. Pasta's having a career year. But for him to have this team basically one win away from securing the President's Trophy in the middle of March is incredible. And I just like a good bounce-back story. He's got everything going for him now. Excited for playoffs. Boston Bruins are bad, like a mean team, and tough to play against, and he's a big reason for that. So it's a runaway in my opinion.
Yeah, it's tough to go against Monty. It's why I took the Kings over the Blues, is because you were hanging out with them the other night. I figured that was easy money. So the Kings did beat them. But I'm going to go with Jared Bednard, best dressed coach in the league. Just got a new shiny 3-year deal. The Colorado Avalanche are going to win the Central Division. And for everything they've been through with all the injuries, to me, it's Jared Bednard, best dressed coach in the league. And what he's done to keep that ship together with all the pieces, I got to give it to him.
Good hair, too.
Yeah, a lot of great coaching jobs this year. You saw Lindy Ruff's name on there. Remember, they were trying to fire Lindy the first couple of games of the year. He's had a great year. I mean, I think there's been a lot of great jobs, but I think it's really hard to overlook a historic run by Jim Montgomery in his first year behind the bench there. So congratulations to him. I think he's going to get it, and we'll see who the other nominees will be.
I'll tell you what, I always find Coach of the Year a hard one to determine. I mean, you make a good point. Like, when you're doing something that we've rarely seen in history, like, that's going to give you a lot of points, I think, in that category. But I find it because we all look at it different, right? Like, I often tend to lean towards a coach that, you know, battled adversity and still found a way to have success. And so for me, like, Jared Bednar is somebody that really, I think, deserves to be a finalist, I guess, at the very least, because, I mean, the stuff that, it's the fact that this team managed to just stay in contention where they needed to be as they got healthier, and then now is still fighting for a division lead in a division that's been pretty competitive all year. The fact that they're still in it, to me, is just kind of wild. No pun intended for that division. So it's always an interesting conversation, but I think you guys are right. Hard to ignore a historic season for the Boston Bruins.